What's up, guys? Welcome back into Movement Parallels Life. We're keeping it quick today with a 10-minute primal movement practice. This practice that we're doing today comes directly from my Primal Movement Starter Pack. It's a collection of 6 full-length, movement-focused bodyweight workouts to guide your training. And it's free. All you have to do is follow the link that's down in the description, drop in your email, and I'll send you those workouts. So in addition to being a quick follow-along practice, this video is going to show you what these workouts actually look like when you pull all the pieces together. Alright, with that said, let's catch up with the practice. We're starting things off with the warm-up series. This is a chance to check in with the body. We started with the figure 4 rock-ups, and now we're on to the inverted crawl reaching. Remember to reach with strength and intention. Get to that end range of motion because that's where you're going to find the stretch. Flip over from that inverted crawl and come into a plank position. We're working a shifting pattern from plank to a deep hinge or downward dog, 4 cycles. Sync this movement up with your breathing, create a strong connection to the ground, and create lift through the body. You want to feel like you're floating through these movements. Shift forward into that strong plank position and then walk your way down to your forearms. From that low plank, we'll add a reaching pattern. Extend one arm forward, sweep the arm up, reaching overhead, bring it back down, and switch sides. And that's going to be our warm-up series. You'll spend more time with these movements in the full-length workout. For now, we're going to move on to the primary series. First movement we'll look at is the tripod get-up. You're going to perform 10 reps. The full expression of this movement will take you from lying on your back up to standing. You're using your opposite hand and foot as the support to make that transition. The movement should be strong and balanced, efficient without being too much of a struggle. You'll see me demonstrating a few different progressions here. I want you to make the modifications that work best for you so you can focus on quality of movement. Once again, about 10 repetitions here, be able to perform the movement on both sides and even alternate from side to side. With just a little bit of practice, this becomes a very useful and intuitive way of getting up and down from the ground. Get up one last time, we'll meet it standing, and we'll transition into the next movement, squat lateral shifting. We'll perform 12 shifts here. Again, that number is pretty general. It's secondary to the time under tension and the mindfulness that you're putting into the movement to gradually expand the range of motion and add mobility to the ankles, knees, and hips. Stay breathing deeply and rhythmically. Be aware of your posture. You want to keep your spine elongated and your torso somewhat upright. Explore a full range of motion, but don't allow the knees or the feet to collapse inwards. Rise up to standing and we'll transition into our third movement, Sprawls. 8 reps here. In my mind, the difference between an exercise and a movement really comes down to context. So in this case, we have a burpee, but we have a practical application behind it, lowering down to the ground in a dynamic fashion. So the context here is if you were pushed or if there was a safety concern and you had to hit the deck, could you do so safely and efficiently? In my experience, when movement has meaning behind it, it leads to better practice and better results. Lay face down on the ground and we'll transition to the next movement, the prone lying spin for 8 reps. This one might be a little complicated, so take some time with it. From laying face down, roll to your side and swing your legs forward. That's going to bring you up to a seated position. From there, shift your weight to one hip, kick your legs back, and lower your chest down to the ground. This one might feel awkward at first, but with a little bit of practice, you'll find the rhythm. From there, you can start to smooth out the bumps and increase the speed, and that's where this becomes a really dynamic and fun core movement. Get your last reps in, and then we'll transition to our last movement in the primary series, the foot-hand crawl. We'll count out about 30 steps here. This will cue you to slow down and be mindful of creating this contralateral pattern, meaning the opposite hand and foot should step together. Maintain your deep rhythmic breathing. Keep your spine long with hips and head at the same level, and keep your knees hovering just off the ground. From there, explore movement in all planes. Move forward, backward, sideways, and rotationally. The proper form is more important than just making it through the movement. If you start to get fatigued, hold a crawl position, focusing on breathing and proper alignment. All right, we made it through the primary series, but we've still got a little intensity left coming with the core series. We're just doing one round today on 2 movements. The first is rotational rocking for 6 revolutions. You're lying on your back holding this compact tuck position. Knees are held together, thighs are squeezed in towards your chest. Resist the urge to want to kick with your legs. Instead, drive the rotation through the contractions of your core and the movement of your hips. After each full revolution, you can extend your arms and legs into a hollow body hold. This is just a little extra to throw into the movement. Finish your last revolution and then flip over. We'll get to the second movement in our core series, crawling kick-throughs for 20 reps. From a strong foot hand crawl position, pick up your left hand, rotate your body to the left, and extend your right leg in the same direction as your gaze. As you find the rhythm, you can add variation and explore different angles. As you get started, I recommend kicking through towards 9 o'clock and 3 o'clock. Start finishing up those kick-throughs, and then we'll take it into a stretch to finish up today's practice. There are no exact sets and reps to go along with this stretching series, just more of an assortment of movements that you might want to add in to complete your practice. After a workout like this, I wouldn't say that stretching is mandatory in the traditional sense. Through every step of the way, we've been focusing on breathing and mindful movement and combining strength, stability, and mobility. To me, the stretch series is just a chance to check out and close the practice. The warm-up series is the check-in, just gauging where your body is at physically. Then we add a little work, a little intensity, and then we complete the circle by checking out with some gentle stretching. This is just time to slow down and shift gears back towards the recovery and restoration process. Scan your body for any excess tension or tightness, and if you come across any, try to use your breathing, light movement, and stretching to allow it to dissipate. It's not so much about the exact stretches that you do. That's going to be a little bit different for everybody. What's more important is that you take the time to slow down, calm your nervous system, and just be present with your body. There's a time and a place to work hard and push hard, but on the other side of that coin is recovery, and that's where the positive change really happens. Our lives are filled with busyness and tasks and productivity. It's really important to also take time to allow the body to recover after these periods of stress. And really, that's not meant to be a critique on modern culture, the way things are versus the way things should be, or not trying to be idealistic about it. This is simply science, focusing on our physiology and appreciating how much stress is introduced to our bodies on a daily basis. And it's recognizing that training is placing stress on the body. Now, in many cases, we love a good workout because it helps us blow off stress from other areas of our life. But at the same time, you have to realize that it's trading stress for different stress. We're displacing the mental stress from work or school and turning it into physical stress placed on our joints and muscles. And there's no judgment around that. It's just important to be able to understand that that trade-off is happening. It's also important to understand that to your body, stress is stress. It doesn't matter what the source is. And in light of all this stress, what really keeps us in balance, what keeps us able to sustain our health and fitness for the long term is prioritizing our rest and recovery. So I've been training for a long time and I've gone through different phases, and I've definitely been caught up in this cycle of overstressing my body. And that's why I do what I do now. That's why I make these videos and share this content and promote a more holistic approach to fitness. We have all these misperceptions about the aging process and our bodies just falling apart. I want to help people see fitness a different way, and I want to empower them to use movement to maintain their health. So I call it primal movement, natural movement, free movement. It doesn't matter. It's just a name. I have to call this something. But what really matters is helping people avoid some of those common pitfalls and enjoy a higher quality of life for as long as possible. So there you go, a few deep thoughts to finish up a simple practice. Thank you so much for joining me today, and I'll see you in the next video.